Okay, so let's be real. Am I gonna need a dictionary for this track as well? Because so far, every track I've listened to is like the words I've never even heard of. Last one, "Guilty as Sin," the word "thrist," "tryst," never even heard of the word. So now I have to go look it up when I'm done filming this. But regardless, welcome. My name's Jacob Restituto. I'm a musician from Northport, New York. I'm going through Taylor's tracks, her new album, track by track. And then on Patreon, I'll put the whole thing if you want to watch the whole thing straight through. It'll probably be like 3 hours long, but you can grab a bottle of wine. As people say in the comments, for Taylor Swift albums, you need a bottle of wine, you need a dictionary, and you need a box of tissues. But you can grab all those and watch the reaction. So there's tons of stuff also on the Patreon if you're interested. There's documentary reactions. There's music documentary. It's all music related stuff. Music documentary. Hamilton and like whatever. Musicals, there's movies, tons of stuff. So if you're interested, go check that out. If you're not, it's all good. I appreciate you checking out this video. So let's see what we got. This is Who's Afraid of a Little Old Me, 10th track on the album, Taylor Swift.
The who's who of who's that is poised for the attack, but my bare hands paved their path.
Second longest track on the album.
Get to tell me.
That's cool. All
About
right, I'm sorry. Let's pause this really quick. I know we just started, but I really like the intro. That like string. Let's listen to that again. The strings. I actually kind of wish that was like 15 seconds. I really like that. I would have liked a little bit of space in there. Production's cool so far, and I really actually liked how she said, "You don't get to tell me about sad." Everything died out. It kind of was got just piano chords, 2 piano chords. That was cool production to kind of draw the listener back in. You can do. I saw actually a really interesting interview with Jack Antonoff. It was like a TikTok. It wasn't even an interview, but it was like he was explaining something about like the size of drums, and if you add really big drums, it makes everything else feel really small. But if you make really small drums, it makes everything else feel a little bigger, right? So that being said, like if you add a really small piano in there, it makes her vocals feel a little bit bigger, but it also draws you in because you're going from something big to something small. It's like, wait, you're kind of leaning in. It's like I'm talking really loud, and then all of a sudden I start to whisper, like, wait, what is he saying, kind of thing. It's a really cool production style. So let's start this from the beginning. That's such a beautiful like vibe, though. It's 5 seconds of it. I would have loved another 10 seconds. It's a really nice vibe.
who's who of who's that is poised for the attack, but my bare hands paved their paths. You don't get to tell me about sad.
Cool cymbal swell.
If you wanted me dead, you should have just said.
Interesting vocal slides there.
Nothing makes me feel more alive. So I leap from the gallows and I levitate down your street. Crash the party like a record scratch as I scream. Who's afraid
Wow,
of
serious bell.
me? You should be.
Really hear that dirt or the grit on the listen to the, you should be the grit on the bass synth.
You should be.
Yeah, breaks up a little. I feel like we're the past 2 songs, maybe even the 3 songs with Florida, we're in like a totally different album. Very different sonically, very different sounds, very different production style. Like now we got like organic instruments, drums, guitars, as opposed to very and they're fuller, very and I'd say even like different songwriting, like a different part of the album for sure. First was significantly more like Midnight's. This is a bit more of like her original singer-songwriter style. Interesting contrast, a little bit of bassy, kind of gritty sound with these twinkles on top. I like the pulsing. 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
The scandal was contained.
Reverse swells.
The bullet had just grazed. At all costs, keep your good name.
Nice
You
layered
don't
harmony.
Get to tell me you feel bad.
I like the space. Yeah, finally a little instrumental. I like
Is it a wonder I broke?
short-lived.
Let's hear one more joke.
Cool. That was cool. Piano vocals and strings matching the do 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 do. Piano and vocals right ear, strings in left ear. This one, ready? That's cool.
Then we could all just laugh until I cry. So I leap from the gallows and I levitate down your street.
What melody? That's a melody of another song of hers.
As I scream, who's afraid of little old me? I was tame, I was gentle till the circus life made me mean.
Is it Christmas Must Be Something More on a Christmas album? That melody, it sounds very similar to this. I mean, that's deep cut. I don't know if people know. Do you know that song by Taylor? Like Christmas Must Be Something More. I love that. It's such a phenomenal Christmas song. Like one of the best out there. But I think this melody reminds me of it.
Don't you worry, folks. We took out all her teeth. Who's afraid?
I like that jump up. Cool. They left little spaces to happen.
Well, you should be. 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 So tell me everything is
So
not
much space.
about me. But what if it is? Then say they didn't do it to hurt me. But what if they did? I wanna snarl and show you just how disturbed this has made me. You
Cool.
wouldn't last
Synth,
an hour in the asylum where they raised me. So all you kids can sneak into my house with all the cobwebs. I'm always drunk
Puttering.
on my own tears. Isn't that what they all say?
It's called like I think it's a dotted eighth note, like kind of rhythm where it's giving that gallop, not puttering, but more like a galloping kind of, and it's making you race and your heart rate's getting up and the tension's building and strings are coming in. It's a cool cinematic almost feel. I feel like I'm watching a movie. Like like I can picture like this old vintage house, like almost like kind of like the Stranger Things house. Like this is what I'm kind of picturing. This whole kind of very, very interesting. She's and very dramatic again, kind of like I said. Was it Florida? Where it's this very dramatic songwriting, where it's like you see like she's personifying herself as like a monster essentially. It's very interesting.
Do you, if you step on my lawn, that I'm fearsome and I'm wretched and I'm wrong? Put
Cool.
narcotics into all of my songs, and that's why you're still singing along. So I leap from the gallows and I levitate down your street.
I think that's the
Crash
same
party
melody.
like a record scratch as I scream. Who's afraid of little old me? I was tame, I was gentle till the circus life made me mean. Don't you worry, folks, we took out all her teeth. Who's afraid of little old
Synth coming in.
Well, you should be, you should be, you should be. 'Cause you lured me, you hurt me, and you taught me.
So many layered vocals. I'm sorry to pause it again, but I don't know how. I feel like I talked and paused a lot on this one, so I hope it didn't ruin it for you. But I don't know how they layer so many vocals, so many instruments, because like the more you layer, the harder it is for you to be able to hear things, and like you kind of muddy up the sound. But I don't feel that way. There's so many frequencies typically going, you muddy up the sound, but I don't feel that way in this. Like there's so many things, there's so many layered vocals, but it all feels so clean and crisp when you can hear everything. It's very, very impressive on the mixing engineer's part. I like this. Is really cool, man. Really cool production, cool galloping kind of sound, a lot of ups and downs. It doesn't feel like it's almost it's 5.5. It's a 5.5 minute song. Doesn't feel like he's dragging on. It's keeping me entertained as a listener, and the lyrics are cool. Even with to some degree a bit of the kind of same repetitive kind of feel, and lyrics. It doesn't feel doesn't feel like a 5.5-minute song.
You caged me, and then you called me crazy.
I do want to hear instrumental though.
I am what I am 'cause you trained me. So who's afraid of me? Who's
So many layers.
afraid of little old me? Who's afraid of little old me?
She does a really good job at like repeating lyrics with changing certain things. Like, you know, she went, "Who's afraid of me?" Then "Who's afraid of little old me?" And then change the melody, "Who's afraid of little old me?" Like, it's a cool way of repeating a concept and really driving home as a listener what you're trying to say, or as a writer what you're trying to say to the listener, without it being the exact same thing repeated. Very, very cool songwriting tactic. Very cool track. Like I said, it doesn't feel like a 5.5-minute song. So I enjoyed it. It really kept my interest as a listener. Really cool personification of like what each was trying to say. I could picture it. I was watching a movie in my head. I love the new perspective. I'm looking forward to hearing the next track. I can fix him. No, I really can. I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet about that. I haven't heard it yet. So stick around. If you want to see the full reaction, it'll be on Patreon. If you want to check out all the other stuff on Patreon, there's a ton of stuff on there as well. If you want to support my music and mean the world to me, God bless and peace out.